Here we are. We're heading from Toronto to Niagara-on-the-Lake. We'll be speaking there next. I'm doing a institutional investors conference. We're giving the keynote there on my SuperCreativity keynote. From Toronto to Niagara-on-the-Lake. We'll be speaking there next. I'm doing a institutional investors conference. We're giving the keynote there on my SuperCreativity keynote. Hey, it's James here. So today I'm in Niagara-on-the-Lake, which is quite near Toronto, just almost before you go over to the US border. The reason I'm here is I'm giving a keynote here for a conference for institutional investors all about SuperCreativity, about creativity, artificial intelligence. And because over the course of the next really 2 months, I'm speaking a lot. I'm basically speaking kind of non-stop for the next 2 months. So a question I'm sometimes asked is, how do you remember all these different speeches that you have to give? Because they're all obviously tailored for the different clients. So there's a couple little tricks that I've learned so far. The first is every morning and every evening, I will go through 2 or 3 speeches. The one I'm giving immediately next, and in that one I'm basically just getting it memorized right into my brain, so I can just go and deliver it. Even if the slides, if nothing else worked, I know that I can get straight through that and give a good presentation. The other one I'm usually rehearsing is the one I'm going to be giving straight after that, so the next one after that, just so I'm feeling I'm kind of on top of it. And the third one I'm working on is the one that comes after that, and usually I'm in the process of writing it or making some final tweaks, or just going some final detail. I'm not actually necessarily speaking out, rehearsing it like I would with the other 2. So I'm always kind of working kind of 3 speeches ahead. Sometimes as well I'll add a 4th one if I'm working on one just now, which is about 2 months time, right at the end of this tour, which is very different from all the other ones. So probably tomorrow I'll actually start just kind of sketching that out a little bit more, kind of going through some of the kind of big ideas that I want to have on that speech. So that's kind of how I kind of do that there. In terms of how you kind of get the things into your head, what I tend to do is I will record on my little voice recorder on my phone my speech, line for line, word for word, as I'm going through it. And then it means as I'm out walking, doing other things, like in the car coming here today, I'm listening to the speech because I can remember the sounds of how a speech goes, and I get that into my brain better than if I read it. It's not the same for everyone, but that's certainly what works for me. So always going to be working a few speeches ahead. Another little trick, if you start to get a little bit confused, which speech is this, and the lines start to get blurred between one speech and the other. Another little trick I found is, if I'm giving a speech, if I haven't spoken at a venue before, I will go online and I will look. If it's a hotel like this one, I will look at the room on the website and visually remember what that room looks like. And as I'm kind of going through the speech in my head, I'm imagining myself giving that speech on that stage. And that means as I'm rehearsing it in my head, I'm visually there, which is different from if I'm, the speech I give next, I'm in a completely different, I'm more like an auditorium, a theater. So using that visual power that you have in your brain is also a really good thing to do. So that's some of the little tricks I certainly use about how to remember multiple speeches, how to be working up multiple speeches at the same time. And a final one I would say is, this happened only a few days ago, when on this speech I was going through some final things and I just thought I want a little bit more time. The organizer said we'd love to have some time to do Q&A. And so what I decided to do, I said I needed to drop out about 3 minutes in my speech. And I used the technique I use when I'm building my speech is like building them like a set of a music artist building a set, like a live show. So I'm building them in songs. So like every few minutes, almost like another song in my set. And sometimes I'll pair two songs together. I'll pair two ideas in a speech together because they work very well closely together. So probably what I'll do, maybe over tomorrow or the day after, I'll explain exactly how I do that. But what it's very useful for is if I want to suddenly switch something out, pull out some slides, I know, okay, those two songs there, those two ideas that fit closely together, those can get pulled out at the same time. Or if I pull that one out, it's going to cause me problems with this other one. So building up your songs in modules, or like building up your speaking presentations like modules, or like songs in a set like a music artist, is another way to get very dynamic with how you create and how you deliver your speeches. So from here in Niagara-on-the-Lake near Toronto, I hope you found that useful. My name is James Taylor. Thanks for watching.